Good evening and blessed be, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Witches Connected. I am your host, Aries StarWind, and tonight we got something a little special. We got something a little fun tonight. Tonight, we are going to do my top 5 favorite witchy movies of all time. Yes, I've been wanting to do this, so I said, you know what? It's almost Halloween. I'm really getting into the spirit, so it is time. My favorite witchy movies of all time. But before I get into that, I did, yesterday in my video, I did promise that I would let everybody know what my plans were for this Halloween. So I have, if some of you probably don't know, that I live in New York City, so there's a huge masquerade ball, the 14th annual Witches Masquerade Ball being held at the Delancey. It is going to be out of control. I mean, they got DJs, they got live music, they have obviously a costume contest, and it's actually for a charity, so that's always good. It's like $40. And it's going to be a wild time. There's actually an artist that I really want to see there too, so I'm very excited about this. And most importantly, and the thing I'm most excited about, is they are actually having at midnight a Samhain midnight ritual mass with everybody who's there. It's going to be amazing. So I am definitely in a lock for what I will be doing this Halloween. All right. Oh God, I'm excited about this too. All right. So my top 5 witchy movies of all times. All right. It was hard doing just 5. So I had to put an honorable mention in there. So we'll do the honorable mention first. It was hard. It almost made the list, but it just missed the cut. So my honorable mention coming in at number special 6 is gotta be Hocus Pocus. I mean, it's a classic. You know, it's fun. You know, it came out when I was a kid, so you know, I wasn't really, when it came out. I wasn't even. I hadn't taken up Wicca yet. I was still, I was really young when that came out. I can't remember exactly what year it came out, but I was pretty young. I think I was in if not elementary school, I was probably in middle school. So it was definitely a fun movie, and I'm not gonna lie, Sarah Jessica Parker, when she sang "Come Little Children," I was one of those kids that definitely would have came. Okay, that didn't sound right. After I said that, I realized how that didn't sound right. I would have come. No, see, that doesn't sound right. Oh God, I liked that scene. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. It was a good scene. Sarah Jessica Parker, yeah. All right, so yeah, it just missed the list. It's a classic. I think they even had a special anniversary for that movie a few years ago. It was a whole big TV special. It was a concert. It was awesome. So they definitely have a cult following for that movie. All right, number 5. We're into the official list. All right, here we go. Coming in at number 5. The Craft. Yes. The Craft. I think that was that was probably, if not the first, it was around the first witch movies and witchcraft movies that actually kind of started sparking my interest a little bit. And later on, as I watched, here's another thing. I actually, man, I had I had the hots. I think I had the hots for almost every witch in every movie. But I had the hots for her too. And I actually dated a girl who looked just like her, even though she ended up being the bat crap crazy one at the end. But The Craft. All right, so later on in life, as I really took up Wicca and everything, there was something really important in that movie, though. Yeah, it was very Hollywoodish, hocus pocusy, but one thing that really stood out, though, if you watch the movie, was they actually implemented that rule of 3 very deeply in that movie, because everything that they wished upon somebody and every spell that they did against someone actually came back to haunt them in just the same exact way that they wished it upon somebody else. And I thought that was I didn't get it at first, but as I got older and I watched the movie again, and, you know, understood the rule of three and everything, that actually was a really important part of the movie. All right, so The Craft, definitely my numero 50. All right, coming in at number 4. I know I'm going to catch some flack for number 4, but I don't care. Look, okay. This movie came out when I was in middle school. My dad took me to go see it, and it was a huge ordeal when this came out. And I know people, that movie was so terrible. It was so terrible. It was all right. Number 4. The Blair Witch Project. Yes, that movie, I'm not even gonna lie, that movie literally terrified me. Like, it was so bad to the point where I remember for weeks, So for weeks, I remember, like, the first thing I remember is whenever I would shower, okay? Whenever I would shower and, you know, you gotta like wash your hair and you gotta wash the soap out of your hair and stuff. I remember trying to wash the soap out of my hair and being so scared that I couldn't even close my eyes. So I remember like soap's going in my eyes, it's stinging. I don't care, I'm not closing my eyes because, man, you know what the genius about that movie was? Number one, it was the first movie to really put that whole found footage thing like on the map. It was the big one. Now here's where just the marketing of it. The movie cost like some ridiculously small amount to make, but the marketing they did was genius. So they had everybody, including myself, maybe not everybody, but they had a large percentage of people really believing that this movie was real. Like, this really happened. And I was one of them. Like, it was a cult following in my school, me and a couple other kids, and we even made a spoof movie of it in a cornfield. It was terrible. But they had us really believing it was real. And then they really broke all of our hearts when, I'm not sure if any of you guys remember this, but I think it was the MTV Music Awards. The cast just randomly walked out on stage. And they were like, oh yeah, here's the cast of the Blair Witch Project. I was like, cast? Wait a minute, what's happening here? They found them? I was like, oh, they found them. And then it all clicked. I was like, oh no. It was like finding out Santa wasn't real. Like, it was heartbreaking. But at the same time, like, most people kept trying to tell me, like, oh, it's not real, it's not real. I was holding on to it. And, you know, I finally accepted that the Blair Witch Project was fake. And, yeah, it crushed me for a little bit. But I give them credit for that movie. Number one, how they made it. Another reason why it was so good was, I don't know, whether half of it was like improv too, which is crazy, but their acting was so, like, it was so natural, it was so spot on, the arguments, everything. Like, there was no like acting in that. It was just them being them. And I think the director probably was like, hey, we're gonna put you guys out there. Here's like a couple here. They probably didn't even give them like a real script. They probably just gave them scenarios, kind of like how they do with, you know, like the Kardashians or whatnot. You know, they just give them scenarios and then they let them ride it out. They don't just really live like that. But I'm pretty sure that's what they did because it was too natural to be like from a script. But yeah, Blair Witch Project, definitely my number 4. It almost slipped up there to number 3. But number 3 is a very, very important movie, which it was a hard choice, but it did take over the spot. Now, a lot of people probably never even heard of this movie. Number 3 is a movie called Hoxton. It was a 1922 silent film. All right. Now okay. Being Wiccan and, you know, being a witch, it's definitely a 1922 version of what witchcraft is. It definitely shows witchcraft as like having some sort of relationship with Satanism and you know, being all evil, and it shows like a lot of like that word, like, of what witches really were, like flying on the broomsticks, that type of stuff, and like, you know, casting spells on people that like happen right then and there. But here's the thing, if you ever get a chance to watch this movie is creepy as hell. Like, it's so, number one, like during the silent movie era, you really had to do expressionism very well in your acting because you can't hear what you're saying, but everything has to be expression, your eyes, everything. And I can respect that. I was a theater major, so I can definitely respect it. But these little demons and stuff that these things were in this movie were, I'm telling you, like there was this one, he was a drummer demon. Okay, that didn't sound scary at all, but it was. Like, if you watch it, you'll know exactly what part I'm talking about. But yeah, they definitely oh god, yeah, it's a creepy film. Like, and it's a silent movie, so it's like Nosferatu kind of creepy. And if you ever get a chance, it's called Hoxton. It was from 1922. Definitely check out the movie. It's worth it. And being a witch, you could definitely respect it. It's supposed to be like some sort of, because it has a narrator and he's supposed to be explaining what witchcraft is, but it's got more of a Puritan idea of what witchcraft is. So yeah, definitely a good number 3. Check it out, Hoxton from 1922. All right, number 2, we're coming in. We are coming in for the slide. Okay, yeah, it was a tough one between these two, but all right, number 2 is, oh god, I want to say it's like my favorite. It was definitely my favorite witchy movie growing up for many reasons. All right, number 2, Witches with Angelica Houston. I mean, come on, we're talking Jim Henson here. Like, I mean, it was, I don't know how they made. See, this is when they had really good makeup artists and all that stuff. I mean, they still do, but this is back when there was very little special effects and CGI. That's what I meant. There's very little CGI, if any. And I don't think they used any CGI in this movie. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they... Oh, wait, no, they did. Just a little bit towards the end when they showed... yeah, they used a little bit. But as far as the makeup and the costume, it was all... That's all real makeup stuff. All right, so besides Angelica Houston, being drop-dead gorgeous... Oh, man, okay. Even more than Sarah Jessica Parker in Hocus Pocus, I strongly believe that Angelica Houston I had the biggest crush on growing up. She was like my dream. I couldn't even call her a dream girl because it came out in 1990. I was 3 years old when that movie came out. I probably didn't see it until I was like 6 or 7. But I remember being like, I'm gonna marry that one. That's the one. I don't care what, being a little kid. I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna marry her. Yeah, Joe. Oh god. And then to top it all off, like, people keep sleeping on this. Mr. Bean was in the movie. Rowan Atkinson was in the movie, and I remember being a huge Mr. Bean fan. And being like, and everybody that knows, like, anybody who's ever watched Mr. Bean and they see witches for the first time, they'll be like, yo, Mr. Bean can actually, like, talk. Like, he can actually speak more than 2 or 3 words at a time. I think Mr. Bean only spoke maybe 3 words. And like, they were all the same. So when he's having, like, a normal, and he's got this nice British dialect and everything, and I'm like, yo, that's Mr. Bean holding it down. So definitely number 2. Which is, I mean, just everything about that movie. And it was kind of scary, too, as a little kid. She's turning all these kids into mice, and the way the kids would turn into the mice, and the convulsing, and the shaking, and the changing. It was great. Great movie. It's just fun. It's got everything you want in a fun, witchy movie. All right, my numero uno. My the number 1. I was trying to figure out some huge kind of term for it. It's my number 1 witchy movie of all times, and surprisingly, it is a newer film. No, it's not Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunter, or whatever, or the one with Vin Diesel, none of that junk. Robert Eggers. I love subtle creepiness in films. That's like my favorite type of horror, just like really dark, and it could be even slow-moving suspense. That's what I really like. That's why I like the Blair Witch Project so much. But Robert Eggers, The Witch, great movie. If you are a horror fan, you can respect it. I mean, it came out with like kind of mixed reviews because it has like, this was like his first big directorial debut. And, I think he did it on purpose. He made it very plain and simple. And it was dark, and it was slow. It slowly moved into the climax, which is actually the sign of a really good director. You're not just gonna blast everybody with horror right off the bat. Like, he really stretched it and then made it all come together right at the right time. And I mean, Black Phillip, I mean, come on. That was one of the baddest goats in the world. But like at the end, okay, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it, but quick little spoiler alert here. So if spoiler alert, giving you time to close your ears, and that's enough time. All right, so the ending of that movie was just, oh God, it was amazing for me. All right, so at the end of the movie, Thomason, the main girl in the film, she realizes that she's just gonna live this plain life. The crops are all messed up, and her brother, I mean her little her little siblings are like possessed already. Her brother's possessed and missing, and the little baby's missing, and she's kind of the last one. She kills her own mom, and what was I gonna say? So at the end of the film, like Black Phillip, who's this goat who she swears, like, who she's convinced is, the one the devil basically possessing her younger siblings. So she asks the goat, she asks Black Phillip, she's like, look, talk to me like you've been talking to my siblings, like say something to me. And then he doesn't. So she gets ready to walk away, and then you hear the goat say, what does thou want? And oh God, it was just so eerie, like that scene. And then I'm not gonna go too far into it, but like the one last part, if you watch it and you focus on it, like while Black Phillip's talking, you never see the goat actually talking. Like it stays on Thomason's face. But when she basically agrees to sell her soul by signing this book, you hear Black Phillip as a goat walk around the room right behind her, but then the goat's footsteps turned into like the footsteps of a man, and you, in the background, faintly, you see in the darkness this man figure, which I'm sure is supposed to be the devil, and convinces her to sign her soul away to him. And then she goes, and it's just a great ending when they go into the woods, and then they meet the rest of these witches in there. Oh God. All right, I'm done. Oh man, I might have to rewatch that tonight. I've seen it like a billion times, but it never slows down for me. It's always a classic. That's gonna be a classic. So that is my top favorite witchy films of all time. So we'll go through it again. Our honorable mention, but definitely gets all the respect in the world. Hocus Pocus at a close number 6. We got The Craft at number 5. Number 4, The Blair Witch Project, just the original, not the other two. And then at 3, we got the 1922 silent film Hoxen. And number 2, we got Angelica Houston in Witches. And then numero uno, the winner for the evening, The Witch by Robert Eggers. Yes, so that's my list. I'm very interested in what everybody else's witchy list is. Your top 5. Definitely, if I know the channel is young, but if anybody comes by this and they want to, even if it's past Halloween when you come through, just write down give us your list, give us your top 5. I'm interested in hearing everybody else's top 5 too. So that is my list, everybody. I wanted to have a little special session tonight, something fun, because it's Halloween is creeping up, and I'm very excited. I got all my candy baskets, witchy clothes and hats and masks and brooms and all that stuff. All right. So, thank you for coming to Witches Connected. I am your host again, Aries StarWind. Blessed be, God has blessed everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.